Today I'm going to show you how to do the cable cast on. And the cable cast on gives you this nice roping on the edge. When you cast on with the long tail cast on, you can see how you don't get the nice pretty roping that you do with the cable cast on. If you look at them together, you can kind of see how the long tail cast on is a little bit messier and you don't get that nice roping along the edge. So it is a different type of cast on, and it does take a little bit of getting used to. Okay, and you're going to actually be working with both needles. So the first thing that I like to do, we don't have to leave a long tail because this isn't a cast on that uses the tail. But I do the long tail cast on just to get the stitches on my needle. If you want to start with a slip knot and then add stitches that way, you can. I just like this way. So I'm going to put my fingers in the long tail cast on position, and I'm just going to do this once so that I get 2 stitches on my needle. You need to start with 2 stitches. So now I'm going to put this in my left hand, and I'm going to take an empty needle. And notice that I haven't pulled this tight. That's very important. The looser that you work this, the easier it's going to be. We're going to insert our right hand needle between these 2 stitches. So we're not going into a stitch, we're going between them. So you can see I'm completely between them. Then we're going to wrap around, bring it through like we're knitting. Okay? And then we're going to point our needle so that they're parallel. And then the left hand needle is going to go into this loop and we're going to put it on the needle. Now don't pull tight at this point. What I like to do is I insert my needle again between the 2 stitches, and now I'll tighten up. Okay, so that way my needle's already in position. So again, we're going to wrap around. We're going to bring the stitch through like we're knitting. Points go parallel. The left hand needle is, and you'll see how the loop kind of twists. Left hand needle goes in. And then left hand needle comes out. Now, or the right hand needle comes out, I'm sorry. And before we tighten, we're going to insert again. Okay. We wrap our yarn around. Make sure we don't tangle the tail. Bring it through like we're knitting. Needles parallel, and then onto the left hand needle. Insert the right hand needle, and then we continue. So we knit. Make sure we don't split the thread. Needles parallel into the left hand needle. Now you can, if you tighten up at this point, when you try and put your needle between the stitches, you're going to have to kind of finesse it and wiggle them. So I just find it easier that before I tighten up my stitch, I just go ahead and insert the needle between. So I'm going to show you this for continentals, this is how I normally do it. So we go in, twist, I kind of twist with my right hand, put on, insert between, then we wrap around again, bring it through, twist, put on, go in between. Okay, and you'll see, if you look at the bottom, it's creating a roping, and that's what we want for the cable cast on. Now, when you go to knit, you'll see it looks like your first stitch is actually coming from where your second stitch is, and that is completely normal. That's what we want. So you would just go in and either knit the stitch like you want or purl the stitch, but it should have that little overlap, and that is the cable cast on.